off and playing on the vinyl. I just came for the wine though. She said she wanna change the vibe up. Something else to speed the time up. You got me swaying, hands moving. The way you looking got me choosing. I just came for one dance, but it's not how we ended up doing.
Hey guys, my name is Kilcool, and you're watching Untitled. New York is, in my fully unbiased opinion, the greatest place in the world. I don't know. I love it here. I want to raise my kids here just because, I feel like you're exposed to so much culture. I mean, Queens is like the most diverse, literally the most statistically diverse place in the world. It's like growing up in that kind of environment where you're surrounded by all different types of people. I feel like it's, it like opens your eyes early on to, different, all types of shit. Just like, I come from like a very middle class background, but like I have a lot of friends who are either loaded or just like, in a completely different situation. So it's a spectrum. So that's really interesting, I think. I was big into sports. I still am pretty into basketball. But my mom put me in a chorus when I was 8 years old. Which is how I got started on music. And I kind of, around high school, I was like, all right, I'm not going to go to the NBA, right? It's kind of a waste of time. So I figured I'd just, kind of really get into music more heavily. But yeah, I was, before I really started on that, I was really into photography. I still got a bunch of 35mm cameras in my room and shit. Biking pretty heavily. I'm actually just starting to get in a little bit into video editing now myself. Because I am looking to put out a music video soon. Hopefully by the time this comes out, actually, I'll be deep into that. But yeah, those are my main hobbies. When I was 8, my mom pressured me into joining up for a chorus, and at the time I was like, absolutely not. Not only just because it's a chorus, but I also was just stage fright and everything. So yeah, I hated it, and then once I basically got into the chorus, it was outside school, so it was its own program. So I ended up being in it for 10 years until I was 18, and I graduated high school and everything. And it was probably the greatest thing that had happened to me, just as far as my introduction to music. I had from there played a bunch of instruments like trombone, violin, piano, and drums and shit like that. But that was singing was how I got my start in music, and yeah, I really kind of hit the ground running from there. Also, the chorus I was in, we were traveling. I went to Japan. We toured with the chorus for a month in Japan, Switzerland, all around America. So it was a great experience. I started producing, making beats, basically all hip hop, just sample based jazz. I was producing for rappers primarily for a long time, and I for a while it kind of was unfulfilling just because, I don't know. Selling beats is just a struggle, and constantly having to promote the beat. And I wasn't singing at all. I didn't put my own I wasn't making any original tracks for a long time. It was all sample based. So then I started getting to trap and more electronic, was doing more Flying Lotus type stuff, and kind of harder synths and everything. And now I'd say I've gotten a little bit more into kind of R&B, a little bit of jazz, but mostly, I still do the EDM thing. I still make house and shit on my own time just for fun. But yeah, I'd say I'm kind of right in that R&B spot with a little bit of EDM and hip hop. My family name on my mom's side, I thought for the longest time Kilcool was my middle name. It's some Irish name, but it's my mom's side. They're the Kilcools. So Kill is son of, so Mick or O'Brien or something like that is son of Brian or something or whatever. So Kilcool is son of Cooley. So I shortened it to Kilcool. Turns out it's not my middle name, so I'm living a lie. But yeah. And in high school, this is funny. In high school, I was I got really into graffiti, so I was tagging Kilcool, and that was my tag or whatever. And I got in some trouble with that, and then I stopped tagging it, and then I started getting into beat making and stuff, and then I had no idea what's my name gonna be. I have no idea, and then it's dude, you are Kilcool. This has been your thing forever, and I was oh fuck, you're right. But Yeah, for a while I was thinking about changing it to like Owen Kilcool, be more professional. But I've gotten all. It's funny because like I was always pretty embarrassed because it's just like it sounds kind of corny because people always think like, oh, like kill cool, like it's supposed to mean something, and it's not. It's my name, it's my family name or whatever. I guess you can interpret it however you want, but that's what it is to me. So my friends are all just like, no, keep it. Like you've developed yourself as this now. To change your name would be a mistake. So that's me. Originally, like when I first, there are a lot of when I go back and listen to old stuff that I used to love, like Kanye West, just like Late Registration was my favorite album and still is in my top 5 for sure. But yeah, like you listen to some of the beats off of that album and like those are the beats that made me want to become a producer. I was like, whatever's going on in the background of this song, like minus the fact that his lyrics are amazing, and in that era at least. The beats were just incredible, and for the longest time I was like, I want to know not only how to do that myself, but like how he is doing what. I mean, yeah, I guess it's both the same, but how he did that, how he's able to get that sound. So I think now I'm able to go in and kind of analyze a lot of that and see, oh yeah, I could do that. You know what I mean? I could, obviously not to the same caliber, at least not now, but I could go and be like, oh, he did that, and that's how he got that. So I'd say Kanye West majorly. Pharrell, just because he is kind of not only his sound, but like it started out as a producer, and he also sings on a lot of his tracks. He was written for all types of like Justin Timberlake, like middle 2000s, that era. His production, his voice is amazing. So yeah, Justin Timberlake too, obviously, and then older guys like from my parents, I'd say like Stevie Wonder, John Coltrane, jazz, a lot of rock too. Back in the, this is when I was younger. I just listened to a lot of like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, kind of folk. Now those obviously aren't like my influences in the like I don't make music that sounds like that, but I figure like stuff that I have listened to in the past that has influenced me to make what I make now. Also like Flume, Flying Lotus, Sky Star Slinger, it's beat makers and stuff like that. Definitely say New York. Just kind of that like. It's gonna sound a little corny, but like that attitude, like no nonsense kind of. Yeah, definitely growing up here. That's another tough thing about like lyric writing too, is you kind of have to go with what you know. Not only what you know, but like how you feel about, just like the best lyric writers are the ones who can really draw from emotion and write in a kind of metaphorical way. So I'd say like, I mean, once again, gonna sound kind of corny, but also just true. It's just like, relationships and that kind of shit. Real like, and there are other things I could probably draw from, but like as I said, I started making my own original stuff about like 2 years ago. So I'm working on the lyric going deeper right now, but I think just that's always an easy one to draw from. It's just, relationships and yeah, but also just, I don't know. Best music, or the best way to listen to music is either in a car, driving, or in like a club setting, like in a bar or whatever. So a lot of times I'm thinking like, if I make this song, would it sound good in both scenarios? Like, would it be lit in like the club, or would it be, I'm on the highway by myself and I'm getting into it, I'm like, oh, this is dope. So yeah, I'd say, and I actually just got my driver's license like 2 years ago, so that's a new thing for me. But yeah, that outlook. Other influences outside of music. Well, I'd say my parents, of course. I'm pretty close to my parents, but also just like, I sometimes, especially back to lyric writing. Whenever I'm writing lyrics, I'm thinking like, okay, this is a little graphic. Like, is my mom gonna fuck with this? You know what I mean? Am I gonna get it from my mom if I put this down? And a lot of times I do get it from my mom. I'd be like, oh, mom, listen to this new song, and I'd be like, I said the word fuck in it or something like that. And she'd be like, give me a look and everything. So I gotta, I'm working on that, like PG-13, not fully R-rated yet, but yeah, I don't know. I think that's about it as far as I can think right now. It really fluctuates. Like as I said, I was making beats for a minute, and it kind of took me a while to, I was singing completely separately from making beats, and I'd never legitimately thought about like rapping on my own stuff, just because like it's not really, I couldn't do it. I don't have the confidence to be a rapper. But I mean, I'd freestyle with my friends and stuff. But yeah, I like bridging that gap was really tough for a while. So I started rapping on, or rapping, I started singing on beats that I had written or, produced or whatever. And then I think one of the first songs I like had a melody idea for before making the beat was the song Hollywood I put out on on the EP I put out in July of 2018. And I kind of like was like toying. I woke up in the morning. I like literally I had this dream of like I've never been to LA. I mean, I've been to my dad's family's from San Francisco, so we used to go out there all the time. But I never went to LA. And I'm sure at some point I'll probably end up going out there just for music stuff and hopefully opportunities out there. But I had this like dream of being in LA and just like having my own crib and like walking out on the balcony and everything. So and then I had this melody idea that I was hearing in my head over and over, like Hollywood, and just, I kept singing that over and over again. And finally, I recorded that, and then I basically laid down the beat after. So I had this melody, and I like found BPM that I wanted, like Hollywood, and then I ended up putting down chords and everything. I'm like, okay, this is gonna sound this. Put this drop here, and that was cool for me because that was the first time I'd ever done something like that, where it wasn't just like I made this beat that I was like, oh, this is sick, and then I have a melody idea on top of it. That was the first time where I had the vocal thing first. So that was real, like for me, that was a kind of a graduating moment to another tier of songwriting. But yeah, no, usually I'll either get a sample or kind of mess around with some chords. I'm still working on my piano skills, and then from there I'll add drums and bass and all that other stuff. Kind of, I'm big on arranging too, so structure is important for me. I work pretty quick. I mean, but I'm also like I have ADD, so I'm like all over the place. But like when I get in the zone, I get this like hyper focus. And I know I have a lot of friends who produce, and they're like, they'll have a million ideas that they'll come up with, and then kind of just drop it. And I can't do that. Like I have to see something through. If I start it, I have to finish it. So like sometimes depending on if I want vocals on it, if I'm just fucking around, if it's just a beat, or if I'm like really into it, excuse me, I'll just like I'll zone in. Sometimes a beat will take me an hour. Sometimes, like depending on what it is, sometimes I'll finish the beat and then I'll work on the vocals for like a couple of days. Kind of. Usually, I like finishing something entirely, but sometimes it's also good for me to like, depending on really how in depth I want to go into the production and the vocals, the melody, everything else. I'll kind of leave and then come back. It'll be like, okay, I got this now. If I keep going, I'm gonna make it worse. Whereas I got to come back for the more objective. It's always great when you like make something, no matter what it is, music or anything, any sort of art, even like furniture. You come back after having made it and saying like if it's like I made a table or I built a table or something. You leave the room and then say a day later you come back and like wow, like I built that. Or this is a song you listen to and like well I made this from nothing. So sometimes that more objective standpoint, it's you come back and listen to it like okay, this is great, but I could add this and that, or this is cool but it'd be better here, let me take this out. So yeah, it really depends on the song. I'd say for the hip hop stuff I kind of knock those out, but when I'm trying to do more original stuff, I like to take a lot more time and kind of feel it out for a while. Yeah, I'd like to do at some point I'd like to get into acting. I did a lot of like comedy stuff. When I got back into the city, I was kind of like in and out of jobs and school and stuff, so I was figuring like I used to be really into sketch writing and like improv and stuff like that, so I took some classes. I'd still like to get more into like drama acting. My brother's actually doing that right now. My little brother's currently at Loyola auditioning for he's trying to do drama. But I think down the line, if I could get the opportunity to do some, I would definitely want to get into that. But really pursuing other passions, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess being involved in, entertainment in that respect, performance stuff. I probably wouldn't do any sort of Broadway stuff, but I used to be really into musical theater actually too. So maybe that, probably not, but something along those lines. But yeah, something still creative, but in a different realm. Well, I have this song coming out, which I'm going to show you guys later, in April, which is a lot more vocals than I usually do. And I really just want to hit that hard. I'm putting that out so in a couple months, and I'm doing a video for it. It's my first video I've ever done, so that's a pretty big deal for me. Promoting that, the crap out of it, and doing. I would like to get some write-ups for that. I'm working on that now, with a publicist and everything. I'm actually right now working on getting a band together too for this. Once again, just to really push the crap out of this song, because it's mostly. I mean, a lot of this stuff could be carried over into like acoustic. I got my guy playing electric guitar. My friend who just moved in the city, perfect timing, is just like a wizard at keys. So he plays a lot of jazz, which is perfect. Then my guy on drums, and I'm looking for a bassist. It's the one thing that, and I have a few friends who are like okay at bass, but I'm trying to get someone who, really would be able to shred. But yeah, so I got the band thing, and then, I have about enough music to put out an album right now. I got like 20 finished songs with vocals and everything. A bunch of songs with Indigo and JKL too that I just, are good songs, and I'm really, as of right now, I'm just putting out singles just for promotional purposes, because I don't have enough backing or like enough of my own fan base to put out an album by myself and be like, yo, go listen to these 20 songs, because it just wouldn't happen. But if I do the singles, then that way I can, it'd be easier to pitch that to playlists and whoever else. I would love to put out an album though. That is a goal of mine. I don't know if it's going to happen this year, but the way things are looking, I'll be able to put out, maybe an EP at some point on my own without any label support, which would be. I'd love to get like a real label support. I released an EP through like an indie label, which is cool, but I don't know. I'd like to get like full backing or none at all and just do it myself. So the album down the line is a big one for 2019, I think, but probably not going to happen, but we'll see. I would love to do that. I would love to. The thing is, I'm also kind of like figuring out my live situation right now. Like I've played a bunch of shows in New York that have been mostly like DJing, and I'll like sing on stuff, but I do a lot of the DJing stuff. I did a little bit of live synth stuff, nothing too crazy, but I would tour either with a band or without, and that would be sick. I would absolutely do that in a heartbeat. Probably do like colleges or something like that. But yeah, I probably, if I could get this band together and really kind of hit the ground running with that, that would be great. Because my friend who does keys, he also produces as well, so we can get a lot more like live electronic stuff, which would be great. I have some hardware synths, so that'd be really cool. But I would absolutely want to do that. Yeah. Making money, just like, and that sounds super shallow, and it is, but like I've made some money from music, but like I would love to just, if I could get proper recognition for, what the music I'm making, and really just like be able to like live from creating music, that would be great. That's the most ideal situation for anyone who makes music, is just to be able to do it for a living, and survive off of that. I'd like to do more than just survive, obviously, but that's, as of right now, like, to not have to work a bullshit job, like to not have to work a 9-to-5 job, and be able to do that for the rest of my life would be great. I could, I would fully just work as hard as I can. I already am working as hard as I can, but I'd work harder, That would be a success for me. But also, I have the, delusions of grandeur. I'm trying to go, big house, all that. But that wouldn't be like what I would define success as. It would just be an added bonus, I guess. The best advice, this is very, not bland, but pretty basic, is just to, slow down. I am very impatient generally, but especially when it comes to like my music and my goals and like, success. It's just to be in the moment and appreciate, what you have. And I'm talking like not just, I'm talking specifically about music and myself. Like I have friends from Berkeley who are like, now in LA, like successful, like really doing it, and mostly like electronic producers, but dudes who are like, making a living from producing basically, and they've got good music, and it's dope. The thing is, like, that's not my journey. I'm not really in that lane necessarily. I was doing like, full EDM kind of trap sort of, and that's fun, but it's just not really, it's not really me, and I think what I'm doing may take a little bit longer, or at least, it's taken me a little bit longer, and I think that's fine. It's not as quickly as I'm not developing as quickly as I would like, but it is happening for me. So I guess just to be able to, the best advice I've gotten is to slow down. It's, be in the moment and really just enjoy it while, it lasts, I guess. The best advice I would give to someone who would be in my shoes, sort of at either this stage or before, would be just to reach out to people. It sucks, like especially, sending out cold emails, pitching songs to people who don't give a shit. I have sent out hundreds of emails to SoundCloud submissions and pages, and some of it's worked out and most of it hasn't. And a lot of it was that either my music just wasn't ready, or these people just don't read their email and they have the submission there for God knows what, I don't know. But you just constantly deal with rejection in this industry, and it sucks. But if you want it, you'll bounce back, and it'll happen. But you just got to keep reaching out to people, not just people who are in the business who are putting out music, but I mean other people who are making music, because you never know what you'll learn from someone else. So I think that is something that I've reached out to a bunch of people who've taught me a lot. I've taught myself a lot, and I love sharing that information with other producers and beat makers, songwriters, whoever. But it's a good feeling to be able to share your knowledge with someone else. So I'd say to always reach out to people, even if you think that they don't care or they don't want to talk to you. Maybe it's true, but maybe they don't want to share that information with you. But it doesn't hurt to try. So I got the song coming out in April, the doo-wop song. It's gonna be lit. Shout out Jake Hell and Indigo, because I wouldn't have gotten put on to you guys, and vice versa, if it wasn't for you getting put on to Indigo. So shout out to Indigo. Shout out you guys for coming out here. Appreciate that. But yeah, that's it. I got the song coming out. You should listen to it. And, yeah.